on YouTube? Welcome to another banger reaction video. Guys, make sure you like the video, make sure you comment down below, make sure you subscribe and turn on the post notification bell to get notified whenever we drop another banger reaction video. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Now, this video is all about persons trying to get rid of witnesses. Let's just say that, and it goes wrong. You see me? They might try to tie up some loose ends, but it not go the way of them planning to go. So make we jump off now video and make we see what's gonna happen.
Let's say you've committed a crime and are now facing charges. There's a witness in the case, and you're sitting there thinking, if that person just wasn't around anymore, maybe this whole thing goes away. Maybe the case falls apart with them being gone. That's the logic the average criminal uses when they take a life during or after a crime. No face, no case. You could be facing 5 years in prison for a simple robbery, but if you took out the witness, you'd be facing 0 years. So,
but if you get catch and take out the witness, you'll get more than the 5 year, but you're gonna spend the 5 year. The ideology behind it don't really make no sense, because guess what? If you get convicted, you're gonna spend 5 years. But if you get catch trying to get rid of the person who see what you do, you're gonna probably get 15 to 20 years, probably even life, depending on what you do to the person. So that makes sense, and it makes sense that I spend 5 years. Makes sense I plead guilty. I spend 5 years. You probably even get reduced sentence or let out after 3 years upon good behavior. You never know.
as long as no one ever catches you for it, because then you're facing life. Obviously, most times killing someone goes the other way. Sometimes you kill the witness and it doesn't help you at all, it just makes everything 10 times worse. And soon enough you realize,
bro, come on. If you're upon a case, say you're upon a case right now, you got a trial for your case. Do you really think all of a sudden the witness disappear? There's no witness. The first suspicion or the first guess for them, I guess, like, what happened? Now go in a your direction. You really think so them now go meds like, if you never have nothing to do with this? Come on, bro. Be real.
way too late that you just destroyed your own life for absolutely nothing. Well, a carjacker from Detroit learned this lesson the hard way in the fall of 2018 when he tried to get his theft case dropped, only to destroy everything in the process. His business, his life, his friend's life, and even his relationship with his girl, all gone over a poorly made decision that took less than a week to make. Starkeisha Thompson was 33 years old, living in Detroit with her teenage son. She worked, stayed out of trouble, and minded her business. But in September 2018, she became a victim of something she had nothing to do with. It was September 7th at around 9 at night. Starkeisha and her boyfriend pulled into a BP gas station on North Harper Avenue in Harper Woods to get gas. They were in a nice 2018 Dodge Charger, but someone was eyeing their car. A guy walked up to the driver's side, pulled out a gun, and told them both to get out. Then he just got in the Charger and drove off with it. The guy's name was Kenneth Dixon. He was 26 years old, from Warren, about 20 minutes north of Detroit. Harper Woods police spotted the stolen Charger later that night, cruising around on Detroit's east side.
Why you got carjack one car? Why you got thief one car basically, right? And then after stealing the car, getting away with the car, why the hell are you still driving around the car for the rest of the night? Make that make sense. No, you feel like say you got thief one car, the person will call police and report their car stolen. This on the car report. You don't feel like they're gonna put up an APP or ABB or whatever they call it on the same car, and I got every officer look for the car. Why you are driving around the car same way? Now go stash the car at one place, bro.
When they tried to pull him over, Dixon bailed out and tried to run. They caught him after a short foot chase. He got arrested and hit with 15 felony charges, including
You dumb, my guy. Cause that's just dumb.
Including carjacking, 2 counts of armed robbery, receiving stolen property, and resisting police. They gave this goofy the whole ass package. The judge wasn't playing around either. He denied bond completely and kept Dixon locked up in Wayne County Jail. Turns out Dixon already had a criminal history. He'd done time for armed robbery before and had only gotten out of prison earlier that same year, so he'd been free for maybe a few months before he was right back in a cell, this time facing way more.
So you get locked up, you get out of jail, and you just think to yourself, say, this is a good idea, for me to do the same shit that I got arrested for again. And the first time you actually do the same dumb shit you get arrested for, guess what happened? You get arrested again. Yeah. Yo,
More
that's
serious
crazy
charges.
as hell.
Now here's the thing. A lot of people have mixed opinions regarding going to court in cases like a carjacking. You file the police report, sure, you of course tell the cops what happened, but actually going to court, sitting in front of the defendant and testifying against them in person is a whole different level of involvement. A lot of people would just say, nah, I'm good, and try to stay as far away from the whole situation as possible. But Starkeisha wasn't like that. She decided she was going to do the right thing and show up to testify. On October 3rd, 2018, Starkeisha showed up to Dixon's preliminary examination at the courthouse and told the court exactly what happened that night. She identified Dixon as the guy who carjacked them. She walked the prosecutor through the whole incident step by step, pulling into the gas station, the gun being pulled, being forced out of her car, and watching him drive away in it. But while all this was going on, Dixon wasn't just sitting there listening to testimony. He was paying attention to everything in those court documents. And somehow during this whole court process, he managed to get access to Starkeisha's home address. It was right there in the paperwork. Victim information is supposed to be redacted and protected, so defendants can't find out where witnesses live. But Dixon got it anyway due to a failure of the court. Regardless of however the info got in there, now he knew exactly where she lived. 6 days later, October 9th, 2018, early in the morning, Starkeisha went through her normal routine. It was a Wednesday at around 8:05 in the morning. She dropped her son off at school like she always did, then went
Hey, she I think it's just a regular other Wednesday day, you know. She now admits it as not, you know, she think this is a regular Wednesday. What could go wrong? What could happen? Nothing.
home and pulled into her driveway at her home on Collingham Drive, just off Cordell Street on Detroit's east side. She got out of the car probably thinking about her day and maybe what she needed to get done at work. But what she probably wasn't thinking about was the stranger stalking her every move nearby. Corey Holmes was a 39-year-old ex-con who'd met Dixon when they were both locked up in prison years earlier. Holmes had been out for a while, but he and Dixon stayed connected. And when Dixon needed someone willing to kill for him, Holmes was apparently that person. He'd been sitting there waiting for Starkeisha to come home. The moment she stepped out of her car, he walked right up to her in her own driveway and started shooting. Corey shot her an alarming 12 times, hitting her in the head and body. Witnesses
What?
for Starkeisha to come home. The moment she stepped out of her car, he walked right up to her in her own driveway and started shooting. Corey shot her an alarming 12 times, hitting her in the head and body. Witnesses later said they heard the gunfire echoing through the neighborhood that morning. Starkeisha didn't have a chance to run or defend herself. She died right there on
12 times, bro. Bro, why this man, bro? Why, bro? Hold on. Pause. Why you have your hand on the man's ass? Why your hand on his ass? Anyways, bro, this man I decided to him have to get rid of her 12 times, bro. 12 times. I wanna make sure that she gone. 12 times, brother.
the pavement, just a few steps from her front door. Her neighbors called 911, but by the time police and paramedics arrived, she was gone. Starkeisha's father, Curtis, was absolutely destroyed. He showed up to the crime scene that morning and told reporters that the police had pressured his daughter to testify against Dixon. Quote, "She didn't want to testify because these guys were violent," he said. "They carjacked her with a gun." He felt like the system had put his daughter in danger and then failed to protect her. The whole thing was...
And guess what happened? I see him system make her address get leaked, bro. That's crazy as hell, bro. The CM system, well, obviously it's not done on purpose. It's not done on purpose, but nobody never did it vet. Nobody never did it vet anything, brother. Only just did it like information for somebody can understand in the courtroom and listen to find out where you live. Come on, bro.
So overwhelming. Standing there on
And how this man even get in contact with his next friend? How this man get in contact after he get denied bond? How him get in contact with his friend? People thought one hit on this girl. I want that's the next question again.
on the other side of the police tape, watching investigators examine the spot where his daughter had just been murdered, that he literally collapsed. His heart couldn't take it. Detroit Police Chaplain Cedric Wyckoff had to rush over and resuscitate him right there at the scene. Later, Detroit Police Chief James Craig held a press conference and revealed something important. Before Starkeisha even testified, Dixon and his people had tried to pay her off. They'd reached out and offered her money to stay quiet and not show up to court. She refused multiple times.
Bro, alright, this is what I'm gonna tell you. To be honest. Bro, to be honest, better you just take the money. Just take the money, bro. Just take the money. Just take the money. Better you just take the money. And even if, alright, okay, you do not want the money, don't testify. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, bro. Trust me, it's not. Bro, that's crazy as hell. Now you're gone.
She wasn't doing it for money or recognition or anything like that. She just thought it was the right thing to do to put the man who robbed her behind bars and prevent him from robbing others. She had no idea that decision would get her killed. Dixon, however, wasn't alone in this. His girlfriend, 23-year-old Yolanda Streeter, had been helping him plan the whole thing. She was on the outside while Dixon was locked up, so she could move around freely and help coordinate everything. And once Starkeisha was dead, all three of them, Dixon, Streeter, and Holmes, probably thought they'd pulled it off clean. They were dead wrong. The police knew exactly where to look. Dixon had the most obvious motive in the world. Starkeisha had just testified against him 6 days ago, and now she was dead. It didn't take a genius to connect those dots. So detectives immediately started pulling Dixon's jail calls from Wayne County Jail to see what he'd been talking about. And this is where people always mess up. Every single call you make from jail is recorded. There's an actual warning that plays before every call telling you that. But Dixon...
You can't make this up, bro. Bro, you literally can't make this shit up. You cannot make this shit up, my guy. You can't make this up. You're up on a jail call and you not hear the prompt or say it's something recorded for quality purposes or whatever they say for the jail call. I've never been on a jail call before. What I'm just saying. You never hear them say it's been recorded and you up on a recorded jail call with a friend. I put one hit out on somebody else. And then miraculously, after 6 days after she testified, she dead.
Being a goofy, still talked like nobody was listening. Dixon, Streeter, and Holmes had been on the phone discussing everything. They talked about Starkeisha by name, discussed how to make sure she couldn't testify, and planned out what needed to happen and who was going to do it. Dixon coordinated everything from his jail cell, Streeter helped set things up on the outside, and Holmes was the one willing to do everything from his jail cell. Streeter helped set...
Look how she does a smile and a fear like a mugshot, like a post for a fucking photo shoot, bro. It's like you want to be there. You're looking like this, like this is where I want to be. Oh my god, take my picture.
Things up on the outside, and Holmes was the one willing to actually pull the trigger. These goofies basically handed the prosecutors their entire case on a silver fucking platter. On October 17th, 2018, just 8 days after the murder, Detroit police arrested Streeter and Holmes. 2 days later, on October 19th, the Wayne County prosecutor charged all three of them, Dixon, Streeter, and Holmes, with first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, witness intimidation, and retaliating against a witness. Holmes got hit with extra charges for being a felon with a gun. In December 2018, Streeter did something straight out of a Tubi series. She was looking at life.
Yo.
December 2018.
Look at her now, after being in jail. Look how she look. Mama face just get big and fat.
Streeter did something straight out of a Tubi series. She was looking at life in prison, so she took a deal. She pleaded guilty to second-degree murder and agreed to testify against Dixon and Holmes as a witness, doing the very thing that had gotten them in this ridiculous mess in the first place. In exchange, she'd get 11 to 25 years instead of life. She got sentenced in 2019 and shipped off to prison. Dixon's trial finally happened in
You say, oh, life funny. Let me tell you how life funny. Life funny. You rob somebody, then you get the person for testifying against you, right? And then now your girlfriend help you to get the person because the person testify against you. And then when your girlfriend, face life in prison, guess what she do? Take a deed to testify against you. Oh my.
October 2022, 4 years after the murder. The delay was partly because of COVID shutting down courts, but also partly because of how complicated the case was. His carjacking case and the murder case got combined into one massive trial, so the jury was hearing about everything at once. The prosecutors played the jail recordings in court. You could hear Dixon's voice on tape discussing the murder, and of course, the jury heard the testimony against him, the evidence regarding the carjacking case that had started the whole thing, and his very, very, very obvious motives. The jury convicted him on everything: first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, witness intimidation, and witness retaliation. On November 10th, 2022, the judge sentenced him to life without parole on the murder charges, meaning he'd never be eligible for parole ever. Then the judge added 13 to 22.5 years for the witness intimidation charge and 10 to 15 years for the witness retaliation charge. Those sentences were concurrent, meaning they'd run at the same time as the life sentence. He also got convicted for the original carjacking and got another 29 to 50 years for that. It didn't matter though. Life without parole means life without parole. Dixon was never getting out. He'd die in prison. And all of this over a stupid Dodge Charger. Holmes went to trial a year later in June 2023. He was the actual trigger man, the guy who physically walked up to Starkeisha in her driveway that morning and pulled the trigger 12 times while she was just trying to get into her house after dropping her son at school. The jury...
No, I'm not gonna lie, bro. She was so unaware of everything. She never did even think to herself, say, this thing gonna happen. She just drop off her son on a regular Wednesday and I come back home to go in her house. She not even, bro. I would be so paranoid more than I watch my back every step I make. She never did that.
Heard all the same evidence, and the Wayne County jury convicted him of first-degree murder, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder, and witness retaliation. On July 14th, 2023, the judge sentenced him to life in prison without the possibility of parole. No chance of ever getting out. Then the judge added another 6 to 10 years on top of that for the witness retaliation charge, and this one was consecutive, not concurrent. Meaning even after the life without parole sentence, he'd technically still owe those extra years. It's redundant, obviously, but it sent a message. Holmes...
Bro, that shit's crazy. Bro, that shit's so crazy, bro. You get, even after you serve your life in prison, you have more sentence. That don't make no sense. That's crazy as hell.